Okay, let's move on to topic 3, which is our other review for the week, and this is Mamamoo's Blues album, which is Solar's focused album. And we were supposed to get 4 albums this year.
Yeah, we only have 3.
We only got the 3.
I wonder what happened to that.
What happened to the fall one? I have no idea.
Yeah, because hold on. Okay, so the first one was
spring.
Was Hwasa.
Yeah,
it was
that was spring.
The second one was a Wheein focused album. I forget.
No, it was Moonbyul.
Moonbyul focused album. Well, I mean, Moonbyul just stole the show regardless. So yeah, that's
and that was summer.
Yeah,
and then we did not get one in the fall, and this is very clearly a winter.
Yeah, it's a lot more chill.
Maybe not. Maybe
I don't know.
It's supposed to be fall. Who knows?
I really don't know. Their scheduling must have gotten messed up or whatever. They couldn't get They probably have all the songs ready. Maybe they just wanted to space it out more than just releasing.
The Red Moon was Moonbyul because I had the Moonbyul Sulgi song.
I know, just the concept of releasing 4 mini albums in a year is just ridiculous. I know, whatchamacallit, Stray Kids is knocking on the door of that because I mean, if you cut mixtape and then their trilogy of the Who or whatever sort of trilogy, that's 4, but mixtape is mostly songs that they did in 2017, so that's not too crazy. But this would have been original song or 4 original mini albums, which would have been that's a lot of work for even one group, even as a group as popular as Mamamoo. So maybe it's a good idea to sort of spread them out more.
Yep. Although Wheein didn't get her shine.
She'll get one.
She
deserves it. No, she still had a good solo debut, remember?
I mean, technically it's still fall, so
if
Wheein puts one out in January, it'll be March, or it'll be winter still. So I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, so it starts out with an intro, which has a Korean name, but I didn't write it all down, and I don't know what it is. But yeah, this is acoustic guitar instrumentals. It's really similar to Starry Night, actually. And then the vocals are Mamamoo vocals. They're fantastic.
In terms of the actual intro, I wouldn't have minded it, but the fact that it's basically just the lyrics to Windflower, but just an acoustic version.
Is it really? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, it's literally they're doing the lyrics to Windflower, but just over an acoustic guitar, which in a vacuum is nice, but it kind of doesn't make sense in a 6-track mini album. When Windflower comes 2 tracks later.
Yeah, 2 tracks later, exactly.
Yeah, it's just really weird.
Windflower.
Yeah, it's just I'd say. My gripe with it is mostly the placement, just because I love, I'm a huge fan of acoustic versions of songs. So yeah, on that front, it was cool. It's just the placement of it. It's one of those weird. I'm pulling a Jacob where it's just the placement of it is just super weird, just in juxtaposition of where the actual main title track is. So I don't know. Either it could be maybe they could make it an outro track, and that'd be awesome. But yeah, just putting it up here just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, the Korean title translates to from autumn to winter. So,
but they didn't do an autumn.
They didn't do an autumn exactly. So,
why?
Poor Wheein, who is my new bias. So now I'm even more sad. Okay, we'll move on to the first actual track, which is No More Drama. And I love how intense the song starts when the vocals show up. And I really like the contrasting parts of the song with and without percussion, because it completely changes the intensity of the song. The percussion parts and the beat are fantastic.
I really wanted to like this song, but I don't know. It's just no. I think my main gripe with maybe just the entire mini album, just in general, is just I felt like Mamamoo was really pushing themselves into a new style or just a new direction, especially when you're looking at stuff like Starry Night and Egotistic, just really different directions, just between Mamamoo singles, solo debuts and singles and everything, and just this is just I don't know. It kind of felt like they did this already. In all honesty,
Yeah.
I could feel it. I feel like this could have been I could sort of pick out the same sort of style of song that they've done before, and it just kind of feels out of place in that sort of sense.
I mean, to be honest, I kind of felt that way about most of this album.
Yeah,
but
we'll get there.
Yeah. Next we have Windflower, which is the title track. That kind of is similar. Like, that comment leads into this well for me. Like, I thought this was good, but it's like a pretty basic song. Obviously Mamamoo are like great singers, and this is like their style. But for this song, it didn't really do anything special to blow me away.
Yeah.
And the music video's very generic.
Yeah, the music video, they're just walking around.
They're just walking around Hong Kong.
Oh, they're in Hong Kong, okay.
Well, it looked like Hong Kong to me. I wasn't fully paying attention, but
okay, that's probably Hong Kong, because the picture you have has like Chinese characters, I think, on it.
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't surprise
me. But yeah, it's just like super, super basic, and the song kind of felt the same way.
Like, I wouldn't have minded the basic MV if they... Like, why is this only... As far as I know, this is only getting one MV, whereas, like, literally, the first mini that they released this year had, like, 4 music videos and everything. Like, they went super... Mm-hmm. They probably blew the budget on the Hwasa EP, which is why they can't really do anything.
Yeah, with the crazy...
Like, just like Hwasa Solo got a music video, like, just like the intro track got a music video, Starry Night got a music video, just like everything got a music video basically, whereas this is, they're definitely phoning it in at this point. That being said, I don't hate this song. Again, maybe in a vacuum, it'd be a great Mamamoo single.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, it's just, when you're putting out, like, Paint Me and Starry Night and Egotistic, it just kind of pales in comparison to just how much I love those songs. Because again, I love Mamamoo is easily, in terms of vocals, they're the best girl group out there, like, or best group out there. Period. Honestly, I'd put them above like even boy groups. But yeah, I don't know. It just, again, maybe it's just we have our expectations so high that something like this just doesn't cut it anymore. Yeah, that could probably be it. Honestly, just because, again, even if you don't like the instrumental or just like the style of song, when it comes to Mamamoo, you're always going to like the vocals. And that being said, I do like the vocals on this, especially during the chorus, but just Windflower, Windflower. It's not really sort of pushing their limits necessarily, or just pushing it in any interesting direction. And I guess maybe it's like a winter track. They're trying to be more chill and everything, but I don't know. Windflower just doesn't feel like a single to me. It doesn't feel like a single. It would be it's like an interesting, like, maybe like side, like, or an album track or whatever, but I don't know if you can lead with this necessarily.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I felt.
And I mean, we're not the only ones. I mean, I know Umu, probably the biggest fan of Mamamoo out there. She did a reaction recently, and she's had sort of the same sort of I guess just maybe not necessarily disappointment, but she's just expecting a lot she expects a lot out of her favorite groups, and it wasn't cutting it, and she definitely got backlash for it, as she did with, I don't think she liked the Egotistic as well, so she kind of got shit in the comments for it. But that makes it, I don't get us wrong, we love Mamamoo, we love this group. This group is literally the reason why truly Daebak exists. Like, that's not an understatement. Like, that photo. A photo of Mamamoo was literally what brought myself, Nate, and Jacob all together. So, like,
yeah,
it's not us just trying to throw shade or just hating Mamamoo. It's just, again, we tend, I especially on my part, I have high expectations for groups I love. So yeah, this wasn't cutting it.
Next we have Hello, which is Solar's solo song. And this reminds me of like a Taeyeon solo song. Obviously Solar can pull that type of song off just as well as Tae. I think this is easily my favorite song. It was, I don't know if I want to say it's something new, but it definitely stood out the most, in my opinion, on this album.
It's another one I wanted to really like, and maybe it's just my fault for, I don't know, just because when it comes to like the solo songs, I'm just putting it or pairing it amongst that. The other members doing their solo songs, I just felt like they were more experimental and creative in that front, and this just feels like, okay, Solar definitely, she does a lot of OSTs, she does like this style of song a lot, so I just kind of wish that, okay, we're trying to show a new Mamamoo, and I don't know, it just feels like they're falling back into too much safe territory with this track. And again, her vocals on this are great. It's Solar, you're not going to get bad vocals from Solar, but again, I really I wanted them to push themselves with the solo songs.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of felt, like we've been saying, I felt this way about the whole album, really.
Yeah. It just felt...
But I did enjoy this.
Yeah, I'd say that, it's the safest of all the 3 mini albums that we've released, or were released easily. So far.
Safe is the nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
Next, we have Better Than I Thought. And this is a really minimalistic, like, acoustic R&B song. I really like the one thing. So this had a couple things that did actually stand out to me. I liked the vocal effect during the chorus. I thought that was really cool. And then Moonbyul's rap was really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is where I really started. These last 2 tracks are where I really started to enjoy this album. Just similar vibes between the 2 of them, but with Better Than I Thought, I for the most part, I've gotten sick of the like electric guitar, like ballad track sort of thing, but I think it works well with Mamamoo just because the vocals are so good, so that it's impossible to get sick of something like this when it's Mamamoo doing the singing, so that's what really worked in his favor. And obviously anytime Moonbyul sings, I'm going to take that any day, honestly. I think that's probably why I didn't like Windflower as much as I did, because she barely did any singing in that track.
Yeah.
Like, she had like 1 line of singing, whereas this, she has way more.
Yep. And finally, we have Morning. So it's interesting that you said that you really started really liking the song with these last 2 albums, because I felt like this was just like their most generic, standard, ballady R&B Mamamoo song.
Oh, you didn't like Morning?
No, I mean, it was more of the same. Like, that's just kind of how I felt about this whole album. Was just kind of boring, like, because it was what Mamamoo does and nothing interesting, especially like you said, compared to the last 2 releases where they tried to do different things, and like, I think they did what did them well.
Yeah, well, in this case, it's comfort food that I don't hate. Again, it's just when if it was another group doing this, I probably wouldn't have liked it so much. But again, it just Mamamoo's vocals are just incredible with this really sort of sensual, like very minimalist R&B track. So I really love that part. And obviously, again, more Moonbyul singing is to its benefit. That's basically all they need to do. They just need to release an entire album of Moonbyul singing, and I will give it a 10 out of 10.
You'll basically be happy about it. Yeah.
Just because, again, she was so criminally underutilized when she has some of the most beautiful vocals in all of Mamamoo, especially just like when I first heard Paint Me, I was like, holy crap, why were they not doing this before? Which is why I really appreciate it with these tracks. But yeah, again, just even this isn't really just pushing the boundary when it comes to Mamamoo. Again, obviously there's only so much you can do when it comes to the style of ballad, but that being said, I don't mind it necessarily, just because everything else just didn't really seem, or just didn't really appeal to me that as much as this did in retrospect.
Yeah.
This would probably be one of my favorite tracks, honestly, just because it's a really good Mamamoo ballad, and I don't know, I don't really feel like we've gotten one of those since Paint Me, and I mean, having those 2 are pretty awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so it's the full album. Jacob wasn't here to defend it, but he actually gave it a 9 out of 10, so he definitely liked it more than we did.
Yeah.
So take that for what you will. You can ask him his thoughts on Discord if you want.
On Twitter.
Or on Twitter, or on YouTube comments.
Actually, no, the only people that are talking to us on Twitter are gonna be like, how dare you not like Mamamoo? I don't know.
Yep. And for me, I actually, like I said, I wasn't blown away by anything, and I don't know, I was just kind of bored from it. So I actually only gave it a 4 out of 6 for music, and a 2 out of 3 for concept, and which was kind of stretching it even.
Yeah, same.
And then a 1 out of 1. I didn't think it was a 6 out of 10, so that's why I gave him the 2 out of 3. But yeah, so it's just a 7 for me.
Yeah, I gave it the same score, and it just pains me. It really pains me to give them a 7 out of 10, just because, again, I feel like Mamamoo is deserving. Despite this, I think they're still deserving of probably being one of the best girl groups of the year, just because of how amazing their output has been. And just like, I love the concept idea of just doing like seasons and having each member get a focus and everything. Just on that front, they're still worthy of note. But man, this really was... I don't know. I guess just that's the problem with trying to put out this many albums in the span of a year. Is just after a while, there's only so many times you can go to the well. I guess it's like before you just start running out of ideas, or just running out of just like good material to work with. I guess I'm definitely more of a quality over quantity guy, and I know that's kind of the opposite sort of thing where you have to come back literally like every like 3 months, or else you're like not relevant in K-pop anymore. But it'd be nice if more groups maybe took their time, and maybe they could have still done this sort of seasonal or like member-focused concept. But I don't know, just come back with the more good material, honestly, just because a lot of this just feel like filler. Or it feels like they're trying to fulfill... They're so hell-bent on trying to fulfill this concept of seasons and 4 mini albums that they're just putting in like okay songs, or just songs that you wouldn't necessarily try to lead with in terms of an album. So... Yeah, it really pains me to give them a 7 because I love this group so much. But yeah, they got to do better.
Yep. It actually comes out to an 8 with Jacob's score of a 9 because we give him 7.6 repeating.
Yeah, so
8 overall.
It doesn't get a shiny, but I mean it still gets an okay score. But yeah, I just hope they do better the next time round.
Yep, I agree. I don't know why, I just like all the different vocal styles they use throughout the song, while like still fitting together. And then the bridge is just utterly amazing. To quote Umu, she said during that bridge, I wanted to throw my headphones down and run around the room screaming because it was just so good. But yeah, I don't know. I